Welcome to the place where small thinking dies and bold belief is born. This channel isn't for the passive, it's for the purpose-driven, for the ones who know deep down that they were made for more, but need the mindset to match it. Here, we don't just wish for change, we work for it. We don't bow to fear, we break through it. Every video is a wake-up call to your potential, a reminder that your mind is the architect of your future, and your faith-filled action is the key that opens locked doors. If you're tired of drifting, shrinking, doubting, and settling, this is your invitation to rise, because the bigger the belief, the higher you go. So if you're ready to stop existing and start driving toward your destiny, hit play. Let's rebuild your mindset, reclaim your purpose, and rise together. You become what you believe, and belief starts right here. You see, your mind is the architect of your future. Everything you are, everything you've done, and everything you will become. It all begins with the way you think. People want to change their lives. They want the success, the peace, the clarity, the breakthrough. But they don't want to touch the foundation, and the foundation is your belief system. That quiet voice inside your head. What it says about you, what it expects from you. That's what's shaping your reality. It's not your background. It's not your bank account. It's not even your talent. It's your thinking. You can take someone with all the potential in the world, but if their mind is poisoned by doubt, fear, and insecurity, they'll sabotage every opportunity handed to them. Why? Because they've been trained by their thoughts to stay small. To stay hidden, to stay safe, that's not life. That's just survival. The truth is, the world doesn't define you. Circumstances don't define you. What defines you is what you accept as true about yourself. If deep down you believe you're not good enough, smart enough, worthy enough, you'll unconsciously seek out experiences that confirm that belief. That's how powerful the mind is. It's not just a filter, it's a magnet. It draws in the experiences, the people, and the opportunities that match your level of belief. So the question becomes, what blueprint are you building your life on? You've got to get honest, real honest. What beliefs have been running the show in your life? What quiet agreements have you made with mediocrity? Maybe somewhere along the way, someone told you you'd never amount to anything. Maybe they laughed at your dream, told you to be more realistic. And maybe, just maybe, you believed them. That belief became a brick, and every day you added more bricks, bricks of doubt, bricks of fear, bricks of limitation. And now you're standing in a house that you never wanted, but you built it with your own thoughts. But here's the good news: you can renovate your mind. You can tear down every lie, every excuse, every fear that was never yours to carry in the first place. You can rebuild, you can rewire, you can reprogram your mind to believe again, to hope again, to dream again. And this isn't about just thinking positive. This is about choosing new patterns, replacing old stories, and telling yourself a new truth over and over again until your life begins to reflect it. It's about deciding that the old version of you is done, that the belief system built on pain, failure, or other people's opinions no longer gets to dictate your future. Because when you upgrade your mindset, you upgrade your life. Your energy changes, your posture changes. You stop asking for permission to be great. You stop tiptoeing around your potential. You walk different. You talk different. You stop playing defense and start living on offense. And you know what happens when your mindset shifts. You start to see doors you couldn't see before. You recognize opportunities you used to overlook. You stop settling. Because when your belief grows, your standards rise. And when your standards rise, your outcomes change. Don't wait for life to hand you clarity. Don't wait for some perfect moment to believe. You've got to go first. You've got to believe first. Speak it first. Act on it first. And then you'll see the fruit of that belief show up in your life. You become what you believe, not what you wish. So if you want a new life, start with a new mindset. Your future isn't waiting on someone else to change. It's waiting on you to think differently. Change your mind. and everything else follows. Everybody wants something. Everybody wishes for more. More peace, more money, more success, more purpose. But let me tell you something plain and simple. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you work for. Wishing is easy. Wishing is comfortable. You can sit around all day and wish your life looked different. But a wish without belief, without action, without sweat, without sacrifice, that's just a fantasy. That's a daydream. You've got to stop treating your future like a lottery ticket. Success doesn't come from crossing your fingers and hoping something good happens. It comes from getting up every day, even when you're tired, even when you're doubting, even when you're scared, and doing the work. Doing the hard, quiet, consistent, thankless work that nobody applauds but everybody eventually notices. And it starts with belief. I'm not talking about the shallow kind of belief that disappears when things get hard. I'm talking about deep, unshakable belief. The kind of belief that stands up to rejection, failure, disappointment, and still says, I'm not done yet. That kind of belief pushes you out the door when you feel like hiding. It keeps you grinding when you feel like quitting. But here's the thing. If you don't truly believe it's possible for you, you'll never show up like it is. People think the problem is a lack of opportunity. Most times it's a lack of belief, because if you believed you could win, you'd train like it. If you believed your voice mattered, you'd speak with it. If you believed that dream was yours to build, you wouldn't be waiting on somebody else to build it for you. Belief is not passive, it's active. It shows up in your choices, your habits, your focus. It shows up in what you say no to. It shows up in how you handle setbacks. You don't stumble into greatness. You don't drift into discipline. You don't accidentally become excellent. It's a decision every single day, and sometimes you've got to make that decision while nobody's watching. While the results aren't showing yet, while it feels like you're not getting anywhere, that's when the real work happens, when it's not about applause, it's about alignment, when you're not chasing attention, you're chasing purpose. Discipline is the proof of belief. You can talk all day about what you want, you can post it, write it, speak it, but if your actions don't match, then it's not belief, it's just noise. Real belief shows up at 5 a.m. It shows up when the doors are closed. It shows up in your choices when comfort is calling your name. It shows up in how you prepare, in how you protect your vision, in how you keep your eyes locked on the goal even when distractions are trying to steal your focus. People say they're waiting for the right moment. There is no right moment. The right moment is the one you take, the one you fight for, the one you create through commitment and sacrifice. You don't rise by wishing, you rise by working, by pushing past your excuses, by getting out of your own way, and you've got to be real with yourself. Are you just wishing, or are you working? Are you talking about it, or are you walking it out? Because the world rewards action. The world responds to movement. The universe doesn't bend to your desires. It bends to your discipline. Let me tell you this, hard work doesn't guarantee success, but no success comes without it. You can't skip the grind. You can't bypass the struggle. You can't pray for results while avoiding the process. You've got to go through it. You've got to outlast the season of silence, the season of slow progress, the season where it feels like nothing's happening. That's where belief is tested. That's where champions are built. If you want the life, you've got to embrace the lifestyle. If you want the win, you've got to carry the weight. If you want the breakthrough, you've got to break through your comfort zone. That's the cost. That's the requirement. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you work for. Fear is the lie that blocks your power. It's not the enemy out there, it's the voice in here, that whisper that says, what if you fail? What if they laugh? What if you're not enough? You've heard that voice before, we all have. It sounds convincing, doesn't it? It's slick, it's subtle, but let me tell you the truth. Fear is not real. Fear is a script, a story, a lie that's been told so many times you started to believe it was the truth. But look around. What has fear ever built? What has fear ever created, healed, or restored? Nothing. It's a thief. It steals your voice, your power, your destiny, and the worst part, it doesn't even need to be true to work. It just needs you to believe it. You weren't born afraid, you were taught to be. Somewhere along the line, somebody told you to shrink. Somebody said, don't reach too high. Don't speak too loud. Don't believe too big. And you internalized it. You rehearsed that fear until it became your reality, but I came to tell you, it's not your reality, it's just a script, and you can rewrite it. You've got to understand this. Fear is a liar, but belief is the truth. Bold belief breaks fear's grip. The moment you decide to stop accepting fear's lies as your truth, that's the moment things begin to change. Not because the fear disappears, but because you stop letting it drive the car. You stop letting it call the shots. You stop letting it sit in the front row of your life. See, fear thrives in silence. It feeds off passivity. It loves it when you don't challenge it. But when you rise up with belief, real belief, fear starts to shrink. Because belief speaks louder. Belief says, I don't care how I feel. I know who I am. Belief says, even if I'm afraid, I'm still going forward. Belief moves in the face of fear. It doesn't wait for perfect peace. It chooses courage anyway, and here's the thing. Courage doesn't mean you don't feel fear. It means you've decided fear doesn't get to have the final word. Courage is when you walk into the room trembling, but you walk in anyway. When you start the business, write the book, take the step, have the conversation, not because you're fearless, but because your purpose is louder than your panic. That's what breaks the cycle. That's what shifts the atmosphere. Not pretending fear isn't there, but refusing to bow to it, refusing to let it dictate your future. You want to know what fear really is. It's the enemy of motion. It's the anchor that keeps you from launching. It's the weight that makes you hesitate when you were meant to soar. But you weren't created to be cautious. You were created to be courageous. You weren't made to live on your heels. You were made to stand on your feet. And the only thing standing between the life you have and the life you want is the story you keep telling yourself. So what would happen if you changed the story? What would happen if, instead of saying, I'm not ready, you said, I'm being prepared? Instead of saying, I might fail, you said, I'm about to grow. What if you stopped rehearsing your fears and started rehearsing your faith? Because belief isn't just a thought, it's a weapon. It's how you fight back. It's how you push through. Every step you take in belief weakens fear's grip. Every time you act in confidence, you tear down a lie. That's the work, that's the process. And if you keep showing up, keep believing, keep moving, fear will fall. It has to, because fear has no power over someone who knows who they are. Don't let a lie decide your future. Don't let an illusion rob you of your greatness. Don't waste another moment living small because you were too scared to stand tall. The truth is, the fear you feel isn't proof of danger. It's proof of direction. It's a sign you're getting close to something powerful, something meaningful, something worth fighting for. So stop running from fear and start walking through it. Not because you have all the answers, but because you believe you're worth the risk. Because fear is a liar, but you are the truth. You've got the power. Fear just hopes you never find it. Success isn't luck, it's alignment with purpose. A lot of people are sitting around waiting for a break, hoping someone notices them, hoping life just magically turns around. But let's be real. Hoping is not a strategy, and success, it's not some mystical force that randomly falls on the chosen few. It's not the lottery. It's not a coincidence. Success is when your actions lock into your assignment, when what you do lines up with who you're meant to be. You weren't made to drift through life, bouncing from one thing to another, chasing approval, following trends, doing what looks popular. No, You were made to drive, to move with intention, to live with direction. There is something unique in you that nobody else has, a lane that only you can run in. But if you spend your life following the noise, you'll never hear the whisper of your calling. Purpose gives you clarity, it anchors you, it tells you what to say yes to, and just as important, what to say no to. When you don't know your purpose, everything looks like an opportunity. Everything becomes a distraction. But when you're aligned, you're focused, you stop wasting time on things that don't feed your future. You stop trying to impress people who aren't even assigned to your destiny. You stop chasing things that look good but don't feel right. And let me tell you something, purpose isn't about being famous. It's about being faithful. It's about showing up where you're called, doing what you're created to do, even when nobody's clapping, even when nobody sees you. Because purpose doesn't need applause. It needs consistency. It needs obedience. And when you stay in that lane, when you believe in what's been placed in you, you start attracting what belongs to you, the right people, the right doors, the right favor. That's not luck, that's alignment. But alignment doesn't come easy. It requires discipline. It requires courage. It means you've got to ignore the noise, the pressure, the distractions pulling you in every direction. It means you've got to look within and ask, what am I really here for? Not, what do they expect from me? Not, what looks successful from the outside? But what's real, what's honest? What burns inside me when everything else is quiet? Because if you're not careful, you'll chase someone else's version of success and call it your own. You'll climb a ladder only to realize it's leaning against the wrong wall. But when you live with purpose, you stop climbing just to climb. You build what matters, you create from a deeper place. You wake up with vision. You don't need hype to move, you're moved by something eternal. Purpose will keep you when pressure tries to crush you. Purpose will carry you when you feel like quitting. It's the reason behind the work. It's the fire behind the sacrifice. It's the why that makes the how possible. And when you believe in your purpose, everything changes. Your posture changes. You stop begging for validation. You stop trying to be seen. You become rooted, grounded, unshakable, and yeah, you'll still have challenges. You'll still have setbacks. But when you're in alignment, you learn how to grow through what you go through. You stop seeing resistance as rejection. You start seeing it as refinement. You recognize that every delay has a lesson. Every no has a reason. Every valley is building something in you for the mountaintop. You were not created for confusion. You were made for clarity. And that clarity comes when you stop chasing luck and start walking in purpose. When you stop drifting and start driving. When you stop doubting and start deciding. That's when things begin to shift. That's when the pieces start falling into place. Not because of chance, but because you're finally aligned with who you're meant to be. You don't have to hustle for what's already yours when you're walking in purpose. The blessing will find you, the opportunities will find you, but only when you're in position, only when you're faithful to your lane, only when you stop waiting for luck and start trusting your assignment. Success isn't a stroke of luck. It's the reward for staying locked in on your calling. Small thinking is the enemy of destiny. It's the silent killer of greatness, and the most dangerous part. It feels safe. It feels responsible. It feels logical. But it's a trap, because small thinking will convince you to settle for a life you were never meant to live. It'll have you shrinking your dreams to fit your surroundings, instead of expanding your belief to match your calling. And the truth is, your surroundings don't determine your future. Your thinking does. So many people are stuck because they've built their identity around limitation, around what they've seen, what they've experienced, what others told them was realistic. But let me tell you something, realistic never changed the world. Realistic never built legacies. Realistic never stretched anyone into purpose. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stop being realistic and start being obedient to the vision you were given. See, your destiny was never designed to fit inside the box of small thinking. That dream you keep tucking away, that fire you keep trying to silence, that's not an accident. That's a glimpse of what's possible when you stop living by fear and start living by faith. But if you keep playing small, if you keep waiting for permission to go big, you'll miss it. You'll talk yourself out of rooms you were born to walk into. You'll disqualify yourself from opportunities that were looking for someone just like you. It's not your talent that's holding you back. It's not your background. It's not your circumstances. It's the size of your belief, because your life will never rise higher than the level of your thinking. If you think small, you'll show up small. You'll settle for less. You'll aim low and wonder why you feel empty. But when your belief starts to grow, when you begin to see yourself the way your Creator sees you, you begin to elevate. Your language changes, your posture changes, you stop apologizing for wanting more, you stop downplaying your gifts, you stop letting insecurity write your story. And listen, I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm talking about alignment. I'm talking about stepping into the size of the assignment you've been given. Some of you are carrying vision that's too big to fit into the mindsets you've been living with. You keep trying to make something divine fit into something comfortable, but purpose doesn't live in comfort. Destiny doesn't bloom in safety. You've got to get uncomfortable. You've got to get stretched. You've got to be willing to outgrow the thinking that got you this far so you can rise to what's next. Don't let your environment decide what's possible. Don't let your history dictate your horizon. Some of the greatest people in history came from nothing, but they thought differently. They believed differently. They refused to be defined by what was around them. They saw more, they believed more, and because of that, they became more. Your thinking is either lifting you or limiting you. So what are you choosing? Are you choosing to believe in the dream that scares you? Or are you choosing to retreat into the lie that says not you? Every time you say, I can't, you hand your power to fear. Every time you say, I'm not ready, you give your destiny a delay. But every time you say, why not me? Something shifts, something moves, because that's when you stop thinking from the level of your limitation and start thinking from the level of your calling. There's more in you than you've allowed yourself to believe. There's more strength, more vision, more courage, but you've got to unlock it. And the key is expanding your belief. You've got to think bigger. Dream bigger, speak bigger, not because it makes you impressive, but because it keeps you in alignment with what you were born to do. And yes, you'll face resistance. People will question you. They'll say you've changed. And you have, because the old version of you was too small for the destiny ahead. Let them talk, let them doubt, but you stay locked in. You keep growing, you keep building, you keep rising, because the bigger the belief, the higher you rise. Faith-filled action is the game changer. You can believe all day long, you can speak all the affirmations, you can dream as big as the sky. But if there's no movement, it's just noise. Belief that doesn't move you isn't belief. It's just a wish. And wishes don't change your life. Action does. That's the difference between people who talk about their goals and the ones who actually achieve them. The achievers didn't wait for everything to line up. They moved, they acted, they took the step while they were still scared, still unsure, still figuring it out. Too many people are waiting for perfect clarity before they make a move, waiting for every doubt to disappear, waiting for confirmation from someone else. But that's not how it works. Faith isn't about waiting. It's about walking. It's about stepping forward even when the path isn't fully lit, even when you don't know how it's all going to come together. That's what makes it faith. You move because you believe. You act because you trust that what's in you is stronger than what's against you. See, it's easy to say you believe when nothing's required of you. It's easy to feel strong when you're not being tested, but real belief, the kind that builds legacy, the kind that shifts generations, that belief shows up in your decisions, in your daily habits, in how you respond to failure. You say you believe you're called. Show me how you show up. Show me how you prepare. Show me how you protect the vision when it's not popular, when it's not applauded, when it's not trending. That's the evidence of faith. Because faith is more than a feeling. It's a force. It doesn't sit back. It doesn't coast. It pursues. It builds. It confronts. Faith-filled action doesn't need a cheerleader to get started. It doesn't wait for the perfect season. It creates momentum in the middle of uncertainty. It doesn't shrink back when the door is closed. It knocks again. And if the door doesn't open, it builds a new one. That's the kind of faith that moves mountains. Not because the mountain disappears instantly, but because you've decided it won't stop you. That's the power of persistent belief. Doors open, opportunities appear, the impossible starts to shift. Not because you got lucky, but because you refused to give up. You showed up again and again, even when nothing seemed to be working. And eventually life had no choice but to respond. People will look at you and call it favor. They'll call it luck, but you'll know. You'll know it was faith in motion, faith that didn't quit, faith that took the hit and still got back up. And listen, faith-filled action doesn't always look impressive. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's showing up when nobody sees you. Sometimes it's choosing discipline over comfort, choosing progress over perfection, choosing to keep moving forward when every part of you wants to turn back. But every step you take in belief is planting a seed. And those seeds don't stay buried. They grow, they multiply, they build momentum that can't be stopped. You've got to understand, every time you move in faith, you're building something invisible that's getting ready to show up in the visible. Every time you act with courage, even in fear, you're proving to yourself and the world that your belief is more than just words, that you're not just inspired, you're committed. So don't just sit there with potential. Don't just talk about what you're going to do. Don't just plan, move, start, write, build, speak, apply, launch, whatever it is, do it. Not because you have all the answers, but because you believe enough to begin. Don't let fear of failure paralyze you. The only real failure is refusing to try. Every step, every effort, every mistake, it's all part of the process. The only way to grow is to go. Let your belief fuel your actions. Let your faith drive your discipline. Let your vision lead your steps. Because when belief meets movement, something powerful happens. Mountains shift, doors open, the impossible bows. Belief is the fire, but action is the spark that makes it unstoppable. If this message challenged you, inspired you, or stirred something deep inside, don't let it stop here. Hit that like button to let us know you're ready to break limits. And if you're serious about changing your life, subscribe right now and join a community built on bold belief, faith-filled action, and unstoppable growth. New videos drop to help you rewire your mindset, fuel your purpose, and silence the lies of fear and small thinking. Don't wait on luck. Don't wait on permission. Take the first step toward your destiny today, because you don't become what you wish for. You become what you believe. Let's move. Let's rise. Let's build the life you were born to live together.